is about fire extinguisher. When you have small fire at your house, use throwers to extinguish it.
Hey, hello, and welcome to the Outside View presented by Through Us. Well, we are just few hours away from the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games 2022, and this time around, this event is going to be extra special. Now, why do I say this? We all know that women's cricket is going to make its debut at the Commonwealth Games 2022. 8 teams divided into two groups, and 10 exciting days of cricket awaits us. And to discuss this further, I have alongside me our experts Yash Lahoti and Mohit Shah. Welcome, both of you.
Thanks,
So,
Ashwini.
yeah, so we are all pumped up to bring all the coverage of the Commonwealth Games to you guys. But of course, we know that cricket was previously played at the Commonwealth Games back in 1998 when the men's team had participated in the competition. But the women's cricket team is going to make its debut at the Commonwealth Games this time around. I'll come to you, Yash, first. How big a feat this is going to be for the women's cricket, for the players and the teams as well?
I think so. It's massive because I've spoken to a lot of players. They have multiple things that they've never played a tournament. They've never participated in a tournament wherein there are other sports that are played. The other sport people generally have this crossover kind of a thing. Here they are having it for the first time, so it's a bigger feeling than normal. Second, they play for cups. This time they are going to play for medals. So they are more excited because they want to go for that gold, and they just say that, oh, okay, just like Neeraj Chopra had that gold and the anthem was there. The same way we also want that anthem to go on when we win the gold. So the aim is very simple, and I feel if that is the aim, that's why I feel that cricket also should be a part of Commonwealth, Olympics, and a lot of other multi-sport tournaments in the future as well. India has never played it, like the women have never played it, so this is the first time that they are going to play. It's a huge event, and now that we are doing all sports, it's going to just be a bigger thing for all of us as well.
It's going to be a huge event, and of course, the women's cricket teams are going to get that vibe of participating in a multi-sporting event. And we know that since the Cricket World Cup that happened in the month of March, there have been quite a few retirements as well. We're going to miss a lot of players in action, but this also provides an opportunity for the youngsters to come out there and express themselves. I'll come to you, Mohit, with my next questions. How do you think are the young this opportunity will be for the youngsters to come there and show their talent to the world? Because as Yash rightly mentioned, for us things are going to be different. They'll be not competing for a trophy here but medal, and anything that's being done for the first time is extra special, isn't it?
Yeah, very true. Anything that's being done for the first time is always extra special. And I feel like the Commonwealth Games is as big a tournament as it gets outside of the Olympics because, like Yash rightly said, this is like the event where all the best athletes from all the countries that are participating will mostly be in action. So, like previously, Harmanpreet Kaur or Smriti Mandana would have not really been in the same space as PV Sindhu, other than maybe if they would have shot for a ad together or something of that sort. And it's something that Smriti Mandana also spoke about in her presser before going to the UK. Like these are the kind of interactions that they also will be looking forward to, because in the past when she's interacted with athletes from other sports, it has generally like helped her a lot. Like the skill sets that you need in all sports are very different, but the mental aspect is something that is quite similar in various sports. So sometimes you can like just chance upon a tip or advice from somebody else that can really help you. And coming to the other point that you made about a lot of experienced and big players either retiring or not being picked in the squad. So I think like the ODI World Cup earlier this year marked the end of a cycle. And there's like a lot of events that are coming up over the next 24 months. There's a T20 World Cup, there was Commonwealth Games, then there'll be the ODI World Cup again. There's the Under 19 World Cup as well. So a lot of teams might also be looking to like bring in their Under 19 players here on the big stage, and then the player who's played for the senior team already is a good bet to lead the Under 19 side, and they can then draw upon that experience and tell their other teammates what is it that the senior team does well and what they can learn from them, and then they can pass on the advice to the younger players. So it benefits the larger ecosystem, and I think like some of the omissions make sense because the teams are looking at the longer term. So that ultimately is the goal for most teams, to like go on a winning streak in this very busy period that's coming up.
Certainly, and this would be an opportunity for all the players out there to come and enjoy their time here as well, because the entire scene, the entire vibe, everything's going to be different. Now that we're talking about the tournament, first I'll come to you, Yash, and get some predictions from you. And what are your views when it comes to the players to watch out for in this tournament? Who do you think is going to fare and have an extraordinary time here?
Okay, if you've seen that England side that's right now that they are trying to create, I feel they are they are going to be one of the toughest to beat. It's their home conditions for them. They come on the back of a solid South Africa series. So for me, I think so one of the players to watch out for would be Sophia Dunkley. She's now pushed to open the innings in place of Tammy Beaumont. It's going to be exciting. So my player to watch out for would be Sophia Dunkley. It's the summer of Sophia. Yeah, Mohit, who's your player to watch out for?
I think my player to watch out for would definitely be Hayley Matthews, because we saw it at the World Cup earlier this year that she was not just West Indies' best player by a long way, but also one of the very best players in the tournament. And she almost single-handedly took the West Indies team to the semi-finals, scored the most runs, took the most wickets. I think either took the most catches or the second most catches. And Barbados is a team that she's very comfortable with. She's captained them. She's had a lot of success as Barbados captain, and the team has a lot of X factor. I feel like these are players who've either played for the West Indies, or the younger players are the ones who are the best in the West Indies. So I think this is a team that enjoys playing the T20 format, and Hayley Matthews is probably the ideal T20 player because she can bat anywhere in the top 4 or 5. She can bowl at any stage of the innings, and we all know how good her fielding is. We remember the catch she took at slip in the World Cup, that sensational one-handed catch. She's equally good in the outfield. So I think if anybody wants to have the prototype of the ideal T20 player, it would be pretty close to Hayley Matthews.
Right. Right. As you mentioned that we saw certain good catches from Hayley Matthews. Actually, in general, gave us some really exciting and nail-biting games in the World Cup there. Two names we've got that from our experts. One is Sophia Dunkley, of course. She's been amongst the runs. And the other name is Hayley Matthews. It will be for all of us to watch how these things pans out. But before we start talking about the contest, the opening day, let me quickly get to another prediction. That's my favorite thing to do. So coming to you, Yash, first again, who according to you is going to go for that gold, silver and bronze?
I'm an Indian, so a little biased here, and I feel Harmanpreet Kaur's India is a little more aggressive. So I'll just, without wasting a lot of time, I feel India gold, Australia silver. I'll go for England for bronze. That's how it is.
Your views on that, Mohit?
Yeah, I think I'd more or less agree with him. Like, I also think India has a very good chance of winning gold because they're the one team that's consistently challenged Australia, especially in this format. They beat them at the World Cup as well. And yeah, we all know Harman generally thrives in the big tournaments and has the ability to also get the best out of her team. So I would say India for gold. And I think because of the reasons that Yash mentioned earlier on the show, this England team is very hard to beat and they are playing in home conditions. So I think like England probably would be my pick for silver. Like they've omitted a couple of big names, but that has not caused them so far. Whereas in the case of Australia, them not picking Elise Perry might come back to haunt them at some stage. So I think Australia might probably win bronze because they're too good to not feature among the medalists. So India, England, and then Australia for bronze would be my picks.
Oh, the countries are same, but just the medals are the predictions of the medals are different from both our experts. That's good. It's good to have both the experts on different equation because it makes things interesting there. So tomorrow it's going to be the opening day of the Commonwealth Games, and we'll see India and Australia lock horns with each other. It's going to be a good and a big contest there. Of course, 8 teams are participating here, as I previously mentioned, divided into two groups, Group A and Group B, of course. 4 teams in each group, 4 teams in Group A and 4 teams in Group B there. So first, let's talk about the India-Australia game. And we cannot just miss talking about Harmanpreet Kaur. She's had a good time as a full-time skipper of Team India so far. And this time around, it's going to be her first big tournament as the full-time skipper of Team India. Your views on that, Yash?
I feel Harman as a captain brings a lot more to the table than Harman as a player. We recently spoke with her, and she was very clear that yes, I love those added responsibilities, and if it comes from the player herself or the captain herself, then I think so that is the same thing. She injects that infectious energy to her entire team, and the team does well. She today mentioned that Pooja Vastrakar is someone who came and who told we should have this killing attitude in the Sri Lanka series. And when a captain listens to her youngsters and wants to imbibe that and wants to pass it on to her entire team, that's what everyone needs. And I feel Harman is doing that. Smriti is backing her with the same thing. They've clearly mentioned today, Astika Bhatia mentioned to ANI that they're not looking for a podium finish, they're only looking for gold. So when you have your intentions clear, I think so there's nothing more that you can do. I feel as I mentioned already who my top three are going to be, but I feel it's India for gold or India does not even qualify, because that's what happens when you try and achieve the best you want to.
Definitely, and as you rightly spoke about Harmanpreet Kaur, we've loved the passion that she brings onto the table, and it will be interesting to see how she leads the team into this mega event. But speaking of Australia, Mohit, we've always considered the team as the one who dominates the proceedings. This time around as well, they come with a good form by their side. Do they enter this tournament as the overwhelming favorites?
They definitely come with very good form, and on paper and going by the rankings and everything, you would say they are the overwhelming favorites. But I think there are probably a couple of areas of concern for them. Firstly, they've not played too much of international cricket post the World Cup, like tri series against Ireland and Pakistan. Most of it got rained out. They did win the matches that were completed, but like I think they have had quite a few collapses when it comes to their batting order in the T20I format. Elisa Healy's form is definitely a cause of concern. In the past, she's done really well in the big tournaments. But I think with Australia, if you rock them early, like if you get the top three early, especially if you get Beth Mooney or Talia Magra Ali, they will be in a fair bit of trouble, because these are the two players who've rescued them out of a lot of tricky situations over the past year or so. So there are definite weaknesses in the Australian batting order that you can target. So I wouldn't say they are the overwhelming favorites. They need to like address a few of these concerns, and maybe if they win each of their three matches in the group stage, then I think it would be very hard to stop them.
Definitely, and surprises are always welcome. We never know what we will see in the first match, but India and Australia itself is a big contest, and let's see who wins that opening fixture. This will be, of course, the first game, and the second game will be played between Barbados and Pakistan. So Pakistan, of course, won the series against Sri Lanka there, both the ODI and the T20I. The Bisma Maroof-led side looks in good shape. So how do you see the team shaping up for this mega event, Yash?
I feel both teams are considerably, I'll say, both are. So Barbados has not played on an international stage. They've only competed in those regional islands. They did well, but at the same time, competing between. So it's kind of a statewide competition to competing at an international level. Two very different things. So it's going to be very difficult. But at the same time, they have Matthews, they have Doughton, so they have a good lot who plays for West Indies. So few of them understand what it means to play at an international level. The others may not, but that's how you rub shoulders with the best and then try and be the best. At the same time, when it comes to Pakistan, they are doing a slow transition. They've effectively put out Javeri and Naida out. They're going in with those youngsters in the team, which is good. But will it reap them results immediately, or will it take time? That only time can decide. So I feel it's both teams come in a very different shape. What's going to happen, nobody really knows.
Nobody really knows, and we'll have to wait just until tomorrow to see what happens there. But Mohit, both the teams, Barbados and Pakistan, as Yash rightly mentioned before, how they are shaping up for this competition. Haley Matthews will be leading the Barbados. They won the domestic competition there to qualify for the Commonwealth Games. So what can we expect from this competition? Who are the players that you are excited to watch?
I'm quite excited to watch the young players in both the teams because what we've seen for Pakistan in the last year or so is Fatima Sana has been one of their standout performers. She got rewarded for it also with the Emerging Player of the Year award. And against Sri Lanka, somebody like Tuba Hassan also had a great impact, winning the Player of the Series award in a very first series for the country. And there's also Aisha Naseem, who's a very dangerous batter. She's still very young and uh, getting familiarized with the game. But this Pakistan team, like there are a lot of youngsters, but they all of them have the ability to win matches single-handedly. So I wouldn't count out either of Barbados or Pakistan. I think both of these teams are very capable of not just beating each other. It's a very level contest. Like Yash said, I think whoever plays better on the day will win. But especially Barbados, I feel have the potential to even trouble India or Australia because their bowling attack is really world class. There's Shamilia Connell there, there's Haley Matthews, there's Alia Alain, there's Shakira Selman. So all these are players who are definitely like first choice picks in the West Indies team and probably the best bowlers in the West Indies in this format. So I think their bowling might probably just give them a edge in tomorrow's match. So I would just give Barbados a slight edge over Pakistan.
But more than that entire match perspective, the happy thing to see from the Pakistan side is I feel that the super mom Pakistan captain Bisma Maroof is going to be their flag bearer at the opening ceremony today. So I feel that is where the pride moment comes from. That yes, there is someone who's gone, who's married, who's had a baby and now is going to be there, who's going to rise that flag of Pakistan at the opening ceremony. I think so. That's the bigger moment than the matches that are going to happen.
Definitely, this gives me goosebumps listening to this. And even during the World Cup, we all cherish the little moments that Bisma Maroof gave us, and she's been an inspiration for all of us, definitely. But these are the stories that inspire us to take to watch the sport and then bring the coverage to you. And we promise that we'll try to give you all the updates about the Commonwealth Games. All you need to do is to stay tuned to Women's Quick Zone and Women's Sports Zone as well for the update of other sports as well. So until then, take care.